This is Money Mindset Makeover. We all have money stories. Some are positive, some are negative, and some were useful at one time, but not all of those serve us now, especially as we go for the next level in our financial journey. And really, that's the main goal for today, to look at your money mindset and see where it may be holding you back. We'll be working on 3 different levels, including the rational mind, the subconscious mind, as well as the body, to clear those outdated stories so you can develop more empowering beliefs. I'm Toffler, founder of Prosperity Wellbeing. I'm a financial literacy advocate, and I mentor people on how to cultivate the right money mindset, earn more, and how to spend, save, and invest according to their values. Many of you probably joined me for the field trip using psychology for smarter spending, where we use the lens of our values to evaluate our spending. For this workshop, you're going to need a pen and paper and an open mind. If you prefer digital notepad, that's fine, but I really do find that handwriting things just makes them a lot more effective. Do you ever feel like this is what's happening to your money? Or perhaps this has been your experience on your journey to wealth building? I understand, and you're in the right place. We're going to bring to light some limiting beliefs, and then we're going to start revising them to make your relationship with money feel much more secure and peaceful. So here's what the plan for today looks like. First, we're going to talk about common money beliefs, and you're going to have some time to excavate your own. Second, how money beliefs are affecting your nervous system, including your ability to handle and receive money. Third, let's get the negative out of here. Time to clear that old shit out. Fifth, breath work and then visualizing your ideal financial future. Finally, let's bring in the positive and keep the momentum going. So I'd love to hear from you in the chat. What are some common money beliefs? What do our families, our cultures, the media, or peer pressure teach us about money? I think a common one is money doesn't grow on trees. Yep. Anything else? It's important to save. Money is a tool to take care of everyone. Use it wisely. Yeah, these are all really interesting perspectives. I'm going to share a few more here, and as we go through them, I'll be curious to see if any of them resonate with you. That you have to fight your way to the top to get money? Interesting. One thing that American culture has deeply ingrained in us: spending. The highly curated images of luxury vacation homes, designer brands, and more, often seen on reality TV shows like Bravo, as well as snippets of glamorized wealth on social media, lead to a culture of overspending. It's the new display of keeping up with the Joneses. Our culture loves to spend so much that to save can feel like a dirty word. I appreciate the optimism that permeates American culture, that there's always more money around the corner, but sometimes there's just not. I know a woman who's in retirement, she gets Social Security, she has a tiny pension, and her income from these 2 sources hasn't kept up with inflation, and so she's not even able to pay her bills. And so at the end of every month, she has to decide, do I pay for my medicine, or do I pay for food, or do I basically default on my other obligations? And so I think we really need to be careful about how we think about that there will always be more money coming in. And I think it really stands to the point that US consumer debt now totals over $17 trillion. Yes, with a T. And if you're like many who feel that saving is a burden and kills all of your fun, then try this reframe. Pay yourself first. Paying yourself first means you'll have money for a rainy day or for future you to have more fun. Once you're paying yourself first, i.e., saving enough, investing comes next. That's how you have more money for future you to have fun, and that's also how you get your money to work for you. So, do you believe you have to work hard for your money, or should your money be working for you? This belief often comes through parents and the culture in which we grew up. If you believe you must work for money, that can put you in a position where you're always trading time for money. You may also feel an added pressure or stress to be working at every waking moment. Another source of this belief is good old corporate America. They are really good at teaching us that we need to be working all the time. That's why Americans take the least vacation days of any developed nation, taking on average just 11 days a year. If, then, and scarcity beliefs also come up a lot when thinking about money. Here are a few. If I make more money, then he, she, they will love or respect me. Sometimes the opposite is true. If I make more money than my partner, they won't love me. If I have my own business or I'm successful, finally my parents will love and approve me. Side note, I worked for a CEO who had that belief and it didn't turn out well. If I have $1 million, finally I'll feel safe or I can retire. If I can buy my own home, then I'll feel safe or then I can relax. If I have a lot of money, people will steal from me or try to take it from me. Money is evil. Wealthy people are soulless and rude. Money isn't spiritual. I'm no good with money. No one in my family has ever been good with money. I have to work hard to earn a lot of money. Quick story about that last one, about having to work hard to earn money. This belief had been ingrained in me since early childhood. My grandparents were still working, sometimes long days when I was a child. My parents also worked long hours through my whole childhood, such that I often felt like they didn't have time for me. And my dad never got home before I went to bed. So these observations led me to believe I have to work long and hard to earn money. So I worked hard in school. I got my first non-babysitting job at 14, and I kept going like that for a long time. Finally, I was tired and broken from the grind. I was literally exhausted and often in pain. And I realized I needed to change that belief if I wanted a better life. And I used a lot of the activities that we're going to go through today to dissolve that belief and replace it with more life-sustaining beliefs. Otter Silver, I see your question, and off the top of my head, I don't know how much vacation other countries take, although in Europe it's common to take at least a month off, usually over the summer. So there's definitely discrepancies between wealthy developed nations and underdeveloped nations, but without searching, I don't know the complete answer to your question. Okay, now it's your turn. Let's take about a minute or two and write down any and all money beliefs that you have. Not just random ones that you've heard, but ones that you hold and believe. They may be about money and love, your sense of deservingness or worthiness, feelings of safety around money, family history, or stories about money. Try to come up with 5. You can stop once you get to 5, or feel free to use the full time. You can give me a thumbs up in the chat if you're done and ready to move on once you've gotten your 5. And feel free to come back to this at a later time and write more beliefs if you know that there's more in there. Our beliefs about money can show up in our thoughts, patterns, and habits. You may recognize this as overgiving, constant spending, unable to maintain an income, or feeling like you have to work yourself to the bone to make enough. Some other ways are stress. Money beliefs can be very triggering for our nervous system. Thoughts of money may trigger stress and anxiety. That fight or freeze response and the associated clenching of the fists or the jaw or tightening in the throat and shrinking leads us to making worse decisions. This happens because stress shuts down our creative thinking so we don't see all possibilities and strips us of our ability to properly evaluate outcomes. We become reactionary and don't see the whole picture. Let's look closer at the nervous system, since that's the mediator for their stress response. Our nervous system, which is always working on our behalf, is constantly scanning the environment, people we interact with, as well as our body, senses, and internal world, and comparing all of those inputs against past experiences. It's trying to determine what it considers safe and known versus unsafe and unknown, and be ready to protect us at any given moment. So, when you look at some of your money beliefs, logically you may think, that's crazy. Why would I have ever picked up that belief? However, at some point, that was a learning your system took on and decided that it was either true or safe or both. Because that was considered safe or true for you at some point, your nervous system now operates with that pattern as a baseline. And your brain likes to be part of this process and find ways to reinforce that belief for you. So in order to change these patterns that you've been operating in, we have to address both the nervous system and your brain to clear and replace the belief. That's what we'll be doing for the rest of this workshop. Ready? Since writing down your money beliefs, you may be feeling like this. Tell me, do you want to change your beliefs? If so, give me a yes. Heck, even make it a hell yes if you want in the chat. Awesome, you're in the right place. Okay, so go back to your list that you wrote of some money beliefs that you have and choose the one that feels the heaviest or the most intense for you. And I would recommend to say it out loud to yourself. You're all on mute, so don't worry. And then rate it on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the most intense. How strongly does that belief affect you? Once you're done, type your number in the chat and feel free to share your belief also if you feel comfortable doing so. Correct. Yes. 10 is the strongest. Like basically like you feel that stress response, that clenching. It might be feeling in your throat or your stomach when you say that belief out loud. Thank you for sharing, Natalie. At last, it's time to support your nervous system and start working on clearing the belief. Who has heard of EFT or tapping before? Anyone? You can do a virtual hand raise. Yep, okay. Has anybody done tapping before? So EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique and is often called tapping. It's a holistic practice that involves tapping on specific points of the body to manage emotions and thoughts and to reduce stress and anxiety. The tapping points are similar to those used in acupuncture and acupressure. I'm going to show you the points, and then we're actually going to do a little tapping together to reduce the emotional charge of a limiting money belief. Okay, so here are the points. We almost always start with the karate chop point, which is this area on the outside of your hand, and you can just use your fingertips to tap there. So that's the karate chop point. The next one is eyebrow. So we go to the inside of the eyebrow, right where it kind of meets the bridge of your nose. The third then is the side of the eye. So I always go for this soft space right next to the bone on the outside of the eye. Fourth is under eye. So this time it's a lot of people just tap right here on the bone underneath the eye. Then under nose is right here in between your nose and upper lip. Chin point right in the divot in between, right above your chin. The next one is the collarbone. So again, going to the inside of the collarbone and just under the bone, right there. The next one is underarm. For women, this is typically on the bra strap line. So you just tap under there, if you can see. And finally, the top of the head. Again, just you can use your fingertips. So together, I want to do a really basic one as example. Let's all repeat the same example. We're going to use the phrase money is evil. So again, y'all are on mute. So just say to yourself, money is evil, and scale that 1 to 10 and see how strongly that feels to you. What's your charge or gut reaction? Okay, the way that we're going to do this is I'm going to say the setup statement and while tapping, and then I'm going to give you time to repeat, and you're essentially going to become my echo. And so we start by tapping on the karate chop point with the setup statement. Even though I'm convinced money is evil, I accept who I am and how I feel. Now you repeat at home. Even though I'm convinced money is evil, I accept who I am and how I feel. Even though I'm convinced money is evil and bad, I accept who I am and how I feel. Your turn. Even though I'm convinced money is evil and bad, I accept who I am and how I feel. Even though I currently believe money is evil, I accept who I am and how I feel. Your turn. Even though I currently believe money is evil, I accept who I am and how I feel. Moving to the eyebrow point. I'm convinced that money is evil. Your turn. Side of the eye. It's a belief I've had forever. Under the eye. I'm convinced that money is bad. Under the nose. I learned that money is evil. Chin. I believe it. Collarbone. I believe that money is evil. Underarm. I've believed for years that money is bad and evil. Top of the head. I'm convinced that money is evil. Take a deep breath. Say the phrase, "Money is evil" again, and see how strong your reaction is now. Has it gone down? Let's work on that one more time, starting on the karate chop point. I'll just say the statement and then you repeat. I'm not gonna do my own echo. Okay, so starting with the karate chop point. Even though I think money is evil and it causes problems, I deeply and profoundly accept myself anyway. Even though I'm still convinced that money is bad, I deeply and profoundly accept myself now. Even though I have this belief that money is evil, I accept who I am and how I feel. Eyebrow. I'm convinced money is evil. Side of the eye. That's what I learned. Under the eye. And I assumed it was true. Under the nose. I think money causes a lot of trouble. Chin. I think money causes a lot of problems. Collarbone. I think money is evil. Underarm. I think money is bad. Top of the head. That's what I learned and now believe. So now we flip the script and go back to the eyebrow point. What if money isn't the problem? Side of the eye. Maybe money isn't really evil. Under the eye. Maybe money really isn't that bad. Under the nose. I'm willing to consider a new possibility. Chin. I'm willing to consider money isn't really the problem. Collarbone. Maybe money isn't the real problem. Underarm. Maybe money is okay. Top of the head. I'm willing to consider a new belief about money. Take a deep breath. It's time to measure the charge again on the 1 to 10 scale. Say the statement, "Money is evil," and see what your number is now. Hopefully it's gone down. I used the "money is evil" statement as an example, but you can use the same tapping format for any and all the other beliefs you wrote down. The idea is that you would go through your limiting money beliefs one by one and tap on each belief separately. When you're assessing the tension or charge on them and find it's below 1 or 2, then you can move on to the next belief. If you want more support on this, I also work with clients one-on-one. So tapping doesn't only work for beliefs, it also works with emotions really well. For example, here's another use of tapping that you can try on your own. So what you would do is pull out some cash from your wallet and lay it on the table. Look at it and notice what emotions come up. Maybe you're sad or resentful that you don't have more cash in your wallet. Or maybe you're angry or feel guilty or stressed when you look at the actual bills. So you would use the same approach. Test the charge of the emotion on a scale of 1 to 10. Then begin with the setup statement. Even though when I look at this cash, I feel angry or resentful, sad, possessive, whatever, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Then repeat the even though statement 2 more times before you tap through each point. As you tap on each point, say everything you're feeling. So I feel angry, I feel sad, I'm so mad, whatever it is. After you've done that, again, pause and take a deep breath. Assess the charge in that emotion. Then you can tap through the points saying, what if I could release this emotion? What if I could release this emotional charge? And once you finish the points to the top of the head, you can end there, allowing yourself to release the emotional reaction to cash by using EFT. So, quick story about that. There was an individual who used to get really frustrated, even angry, looking in their wallet at the few bills there. After repeating the tapping sequence for, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 rounds, all the emotions and the associated stress just went away. He was able to keep cash in his wallet much easier, which led to less overspending. One question that often comes up with EFT is, should I really be repeating all of the negative things? And there are 2 reasons why this works. One, we're acknowledging the beliefs and emotions that are there by saying them out loud, which is better than just, ignoring them and letting them fester under the surface. It's kind of like when you clean your house, you have to see where the dust is to get rid of it. And second, by tapping through the points, we're clearing the charge and involving both mind and body in the changeover of the belief or the emotion. And don't worry, before the end of our time together today, we're going to have a chance to add in some positive statements, so stay tuned. If you like this approach and want to go deeper and tap away money emotions, I also work with clients individually. You can book a call with me and we can continue working on this together. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how strong of a trust do you have in yourself that you can change your beliefs and your mindsets? 1 being not at all, 10 being super strong. If you're at a 10, give me a hell yeah in the chat. Hello and welcome. Who has heard of growth mindset and the research by Carol Dweck? Please raise your hand. Yep, okay, great. For those unfamiliar with the work, growth mindset means having a belief that your efforts, including hard work, good planning, and useful feedback, can lead to the development of new talents, skills, and capabilities. Meaning, do you believe you can learn and implement new things in your life to become a better, more successful, or more fully expressed version of you? This contrasts with a fixed mindset in which one believes that their talents are innate or that their intelligence is predetermined. The inner critic of someone with a fixed mindset might sound something like, I'm not good at anything, I always strike out, everyone else does better than I do. But since you're here, I bet at least some part of you has a growth mindset. So let's focus on these characteristics and a way to amplify growth mindset. Welcome feedback and reflect on if and how you want to incorporate it into your life. Reframe mistakes as learning opportunities. Be persistent. Celebrate progress, not perfection. So I think these three, the learnings over mistakes, persistence, and progress, not perfection, really apply when we're building money habits and trying to get ahead with regards to our money, because ultimately we'll always make mistakes, and we really have to celebrate our progress and celebrate our wins. And finally, think and talk to yourself in positive language. We're going to spend some time with positive language a bit later in the hour. I want to share a story of this in action. A woman I worked with grew up in a family with very limited means. She always talks about how most of her clothes were hand-me-downs, and by the time she could finally wear them, they were totally out of style. Everything was like that in her youth, bought secondhand or scavenged from the trash. She felt like her family never had enough money. She saw her parents work all the time, even at some low-end dirty jobs. My client was very afraid that would be her future too. When she completed her associate's degree and started work, she was determined to break the mold of her family. For her, that meant earning enough and learning to save. Though she still has her parents' love of free, cheap, and secondhand things, she also has over $100,000 in savings. So far, she is also taking a 2-year sabbatical, has bought and remodeled her own home, and has plans to pay off her mortgage early. Plus, she owns an RV. Her current zone of growth is learning to invest and to trust investing. That's actually how we started working together. She's not only learning the technical aspects of investing and how to benefit from tax-advantaged accounts, but she's also learning to trust the process of having her money work for her. We spend time using these tools and others like narrative coaching, stories, and examples to address her fears on all 3 levels: the rational, the emotional, and the body. Before we started working together, she was on track to have about $290,000 at retirement age. Since she learned to invest, and assuming she continues on the same contribution path, she'll have over $660K. Wow, more than twice as much. I admire her growth mindset, and her commitment to writing a new money story for herself. If you want similar changes for yourself, I have a few openings for new one-to-one clients. To serve as a transition, we're going to do a bit of breath work for a moment. And this will also give a break to the overly analytical mind. Don't worry if you've never done breath work before. It'll be simple and straightforward. Then from the breath work, we're going to go straight into a very brief visualization. First, let's start with diaphragmatic breathing for a couple of breaths, then transition into a box breathing pattern. I'll explain as we go along. If you're ready, I invite you to soften your gaze, looking away from the screen, and maybe even close your eyes if that's available to you. Take both hands to your abdomen, one above your belly button and one below. On your next inhale, try to consciously let the air fill into the space beneath your hand. When you've filled up, let the exhale come and feel the abdomen settle back. With this, we're trying to activate more belly breathing and less chest breathing. Continue filling into the space under the hands on your next inhale, and let the exhale be easy. Keep going with that for a couple more breaths. Next, we're going to test out a box breath pattern. We're going to do a 4 count for each part of the breath. I'll guide you through it. Start with an inhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the top for a count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Exhale for a count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Hold at the bottom for a count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Then repeat. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. I'll let you try one more round of this on your own. Know that either of these breathwork techniques is something you can always come back to in your daily experience. Keeping your eyes soft or closed, imagine a future version of yourself that is wiser and more confident. See this future you in about 2 years. How does this wise future version of you carry themselves? For example, posture, mannerisms, speaking. Now, peer into the financial life of this wise, confident future you. Look around at where they are financially, what they're doing or not doing, what it took to get there. How satisfied are they? I'll give you another minute or so to look around or ask any questions or check on anything before we wrap up. Take a moment to thank your wise, confident future self for showing you around. And as you're ready, I invite you to stretch, move around a bit, and begin to open your eyes. When you're ready, grab your journal and write about that experience. What does your financial future look like in 2 years? What did you learn about what it'll take to get there? What needs to happen for you to become that more confident, wiser you? I'll give you another minute to wrap up the journaling, and I'm also posting a chat question that'll help me to know what y'all are thinking and when we're ready to go on. In the email with the recording, you'll see a link to get my financial planning toolkit, so you can start to map out the steps and timeline to reach your vision for your financial future and other money goals. There's also an option to get additional support from me. And so yeah, hopefully you can start to translate all of this into action. Okay, so now that you've looked at one possibility for your future, what would be involved in getting there? What are some powering beliefs that you need to have? If you prefer, you can think of these as affirmations, but I know a lot of people don't like that language, so you can just think of what are positive beliefs that I want to have. I invite you now to come up with at least 2 to 3 positive money beliefs or affirmations that you want to adopt, and write them in your journal or on your piece of paper. If nothing seems to work for you, you can try adding at the front of the statement, how can I, or what if? For example, it might become, how can I have more fun and ease earning money? How can I get my money to work hard for me? What if I boldly pursue my money goals? As I mentioned, because our brain is always finding ways to reinforce our beliefs, by changing these into a question, then your brain starts to figure out how to answer these questions. And so this can also be a really powerful way to start to figure out, like, okay, this is the direction that I want to go. And now I'm going to let my brain and even my not super active conscious part of my brain start working on answering these questions. So yeah, feel free to add how can I or what if you want in front of any of your statements. I'll give you about another 30 seconds to wrap up. Today, I've covered a lot of tools and techniques. I'm going to remind you of them so you can see which you're most drawn to and which you want to take away from this workshop. Plus, I just really love this gift. It makes me laugh every time. We started with identifying limiting beliefs and how those influence our money story and current situation. Then we used EFT tapping to alleviate the stress around that and to calm the nervous system. You learned why it's important to keep the nervous system safe by retraining our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. Then we looked at growth mindset and how that drives so much of our potential and what we're capable of. We also use the power of story to show our mind what's possible and inspire our ability to dream. Then we went back to breath work, again, regulating the nervous system. Next, we use a visualization and wiser self to guide us to a more confident financial future. And finally, you developed your own affirmations in order to continue training your subconscious with empowering beliefs. With this workshop, you have a lot of tools and techniques that engage your conscious brain, your subconscious mind, and your body and nervous system. So I'm curious, what techniques or exercises did you find most helpful today, and why? I know all of this can seem like a lot, but changing your money mindset is important to reach your next financial goal or level of wealth. And wherever we are, there's always a next level we can get to. I'm here to support you through enhancing your money mindset and navigating the alphabet soup of financial literacy. Yeah, great observation as well about calming the nervous system rather than just freaking out. Okay, so another journaling moment for you. What is your next step or action that you're taking away from here today? I'll give you about 30 seconds and write down your next step. I want to take a moment to acknowledge that changing beliefs can bring up a lot of resistance. For years, sometimes decades, we've been operating in patterns and habits based on limiting beliefs, and this presents an opportunity for awareness and self-compassion when we realize this resistance. So what I recommend is keep using the tools, do more tapping, find stories of people who've overcome what you're facing or who've reached the goals that you want to reach, and keep repeating the positive beliefs. Another option is to hire a coach to help work through all the forms of resistance that come up, including procrastination, distraction, self-sabotage, etc. Keep offering yourself compassion, building awareness, and moving forward. You got this. All right, I'll take questions now. And Natalie, I think that's a great observation. So basically what Natalie's saying is, how do I figure out what even the right next step is? And what she realized is that if she soothes her nervous system first, that'll give her more clarity and opportunity to really see and make that decision and find the right next step. I think that's a great observation. If you want bespoke attention or to go deeper on certain topics, please book a call with me through my website. I'm going to be taking some time off in September, so get on my calendar before it fills up. I'll be offering a bonus gift for anyone who books a call with me or who purchases the financial planning template or the template plus upgrade before September 5th. Thank you all for attending.